Hello everyone and welcome to episode 6 of Off the Grid, the series where we take a look at tracks that have hosted F1 in the past and tracks that have never been on the F1 schedule, and then see if we can beat a target lap time set to us by ChatGPT on Assetto Corsa. The final leg of the F1 season kicked off last weekend in Sin City, Las Vegas. It was the third and final US race of the year, and although it would be great to see races in other parts of the world, let's see what it would be like if there was a fourth at one of America's most iconic circuits. Watkins Glen International, affectionately known as The Glen in New York State in the northeastern United States, first opened in 1956. The Grand Prix course, or the Boot as it's commonly known as, opening in its current form in 1992 with an FIA Grade 2. However, that FIA grade expired in 2018. That configuration measuring at 5.552 kilometers or 3.450 miles in length with 15 turns, 9 right and 6 left. It will be just 39 meters longer than Kota as the 8th longest track, with 55 laps making up the Grand Prix distance, one more than its Texan counterpart. 3 DRS zones will be available. The first along the pit straight down to turn 1. The next from the middle of the S's at turn 3 to the infamous bus stop chicane, and the final zone along the boot straight from turn 11 to turn 12. The track layout changed a lot between F1's first visit and its last, and even more since then. In 1971, the boot section was added, also moving the pits and start-finish line. In 1992, 12 years after F1's last race, the bus stop chicane was added on the back straight. Although the track can be used without the chicane, the FIA grade circuit included it. Formula 1 raced at the Glen from 1961 until 1980 for the United States Grand Prix, with it becoming a favourite among drivers and fans, and was awarded the Grand Prix Drivers' Award for the best hosted race multiple times. Both Jim Clark and Graham Hill took 3 victories each year. Clark in 62, 66 and 67, and Hill 3 years in a row in 63, 64 and 1965. IndyCar also raced here in the past, from 1979 to 1981, 2005, 2010, and most recently in 2016 and 2017 to replace a Boston Street race that didn't come to fruition. Alexander Rossi won last time in 2017, with Scott Dixon taking 4 victories. The main major series that still visits is NASCAR, with Tony Stewart taking victory 5 times, with IMSA also hosting the 6 Hours of Watkins Glen. Although the permanent circuit first opened in 1956, racing has been taking place in western New York since 1948. The first circuit in the area was an over 10-kilometer route along the public roads, and after that an almost 7.5-kilometer route was used before the opening of the track we know today. Despite improvements to the track and its facilities being made, it ultimately started to become too unsafe for the ever-increasing speeds of Formula 1 cars. This, coupled with a poor image being created by some unpleasant sections of the crowd, was the beginning of the Glen's downfall with F1. In 1981, the final nail was driven home when it was announced that it had been removed from the schedule for that year due to failure to pay over $800,000 in debt to Formula 1 teams. During an IMSA sports car race in 1991, Tommy Kendall crashed at turn 5 at the end of the back straight, suffering severe injuries. Then, just 7 weeks later, tragedy struck again, and at the same corner, JD McDuffie crashed and was killed. After these events, the track was modified, with the chicane being added the following spring in 1992 to slow cars down before entering the infamous turn. The chances of F1 returning to the Glen anytime soon are pretty slim, so we'll have to make do with driving it virtually for now. ChatGPT has set a target of 117.5, and with IndyCar racing here in recent years, we have the 2017 pole lap of 122.464 by Alexander Rossi as another target. So with that, let's fire up Assetto Corsa and see how it goes. So here we are then on our first flying lap, and it's not going to start off too well, as into the chicane we just clip a bit too much of the curb on the entry, don't settle the car, and we spin off into the wall. So then on our second flying lap, then taking it a lot more cautiously, this time we get through the chicane and through turn 5. Then unfortunately we get our wrong here, just run a bit too wide, end up getting it off track and hitting the outside wall. But we decided to continue since we're still facing the right way, just to try and get a delta, but then through the hairpin off the boot, on the exit just getting on the throttle a bit too early and going for a bit of a half spin. End up facing the right way, but it's not going to be a representative lap, as then on our third flying lap just like on the first in the chicane, clipping the apex a bit too much and unsettling the car. Keep going though, and then on a new flying lap we're getting further into the lap, but once again going for a bit of a spin. Eventually, with almost 10 minutes of the session gone, we're finally going to get a clean first lap that we can set as our proper baseline. So through turn 1 it's important to get a good exit, as now we're flat out through the S's, opening the RS around here as we run down the back straight then into the chicane that we've been having a lot of problems with so far. On this occasion we completely avoid the first 2 apexes, so not our best run through there, but we managed to get through it cleanly. And then on the exit here we managed to not run too wide and we don't end up getting into the barrier. Heading down into the boot section then, going to try and not spin out on the exit of the hairpin, but still want to get a good exit as we open the RS here for the second time up the hill, as now in the tricky braking zone, braking nice and late, carrying the speed and trying to get a good exit. Run a bit wide there as now we run up the hill into the final hairpin. This time getting a good exit, once again not spin, and then into the second to last corner, taking this flat out. We do run a bit wide, and I'm going to count that as being an invalid lap even though the game didn't give it to us. So we're going to come across the line to set a 117.3, so already beating our target lap, but unfortunately in my opinion that is invalid. So we're still yet to set a representative time, as once again the bus stop chicane gets the better of us on the entry again, spinning off into the wall. So seems to be a bit of an Achilles heel for us here. As we skip ahead then again through the second to last corner, we're on a better lap than we were, but again running wide, and this lap is also going to be invalid. But we do set an improved 116.8. So you can see here just a still frame. If I was on the curb I might have allowed it to count, but I think we're just a bit too far off to be able to say that that is a valid lap. So 10 minutes left now through the hairpin in the last sector. Once again getting on the power a bit too early and just losing the back end. And then, believe it or not, once again in the chicane. This time was the second apex we took too much of, so we're getting further into the chicane before we make a mistake, but still not able to fully commit as much as we want and consistently take it cleanly. We did on this occasion, but once again we're going to run wide on the exit here. We don't hit the barrier that time, but still an invalid lap. And then through the hairpin, just probably a bit of frustration, carrying a bit too much speed, and we do end up hitting the barrier on the exit there. But with 3.5 minutes left now, once again through the second to last corner, this time we do take it cleanly, so it just shows that we are able to take a flat out and stay on the track. But then through the last corner we run way too wide and we were up on our lap and we ended up not improving. So with time for just one lap left, we're going to fully commit, fully send it, and hope that we can beat the target time while also keeping it clean. So this is our final lap, and I'm going to let you enjoy it with the engine sounds. So it's been a good lap so far. Through the second to last corner we keep it well on the track, and then into the final turn we managed to hit our braking zone nicely, get a nice apex, carry good speed onto the pit straight, and we're going to cross the line to set a 116.557, and for the second episode in a row we beat the target set to us by ChatGPT. So yes, we do manage to beat the target of a 117.5 with our 116.5, so just about a second quicker than the target that was set to us, and comparing it to the IndyCar pole position from 2017, we managed to beat that by almost 6 seconds, so ChatGPT definitely gave us a better challenge this time. In terms of the track, other than Macau, it has probably been the most tricky to get a clean lap in this series that we've done so far, but it's still a great track to drive. Anytime Watkins Glen comes up on the schedule in a series that I enjoy on iRacing, it's a week that I always look forward to. It's just such a challenging track, but when you get it right, it's so rewarding. There's a lot of corners that require full commitment, and when you fully commit and you get it right, it really repays you, and you gain a lot from it by having that confidence and that commitment. Would I like to see it in Formula 1? I don't see why it couldn't be on the schedule in Formula 1 in terms of the action I think it will produce on track. But in terms of other tracks in America, a few episodes ago we did Road America, and if there was one US race to be swapped, I do think that there are other tracks that would deserve it and be better than Watkins Glen, but it is still a wonderful track to drive. But that's it for this episode of Off the Grid. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. And until the next one, thanks for watching and see you then.